Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Tebbe with Bright Star Chiropractic. Today in this video, I want to share another way of just kind of going through the whole body and moving all the joints, especially poignant because I was just with my mom and she had fractured her elbow, so she can't move it, but her range of motion is kind of like that. So the issue with this, and I've seen it with other patients too, when you hurt an elbow or a wrist, because you can't move your arm, one thing I've seen happen with elbow injuries is then the shoulder gets locked up because you're doing everything so weird because you can't move your elbow properly. You can't straighten it. You can't fully bend it. So you're doing all this weird movements with your shoulder. So we want to try to keep everything moving as best we can. So let's dive in. So I'm just going to keep my elbow more relaxed. So starting off, looking with the eyes, leading with the eyes, looking up, looking down. Also doing this stuff seated. Let's say your blood pressure tends to get low. You just get fatigued standing. This is seating. It's a nice way. It just gives you more basic support. Maybe moving your neck around, you get a little bit dizzy. So again, leading with the eyes. You can do 9. You can do 20 of these. Just for brevity's sake, I'll keep it at 9. Okay, now next, leading with the eyes, I'm going to try to look to my back pocket. Same thing. So pay attention, you don't have to just move your neck. Let your mid-back bend and roll with it. And now you're also keeping up. You could even, maybe seating would be comfortable if you're a later stage pregnancy and being on your feet is really fatiguing. You could also do this on one of those exercise balls. So then you're also kind of using your core a little bit more than just sitting on this because the ball is going to be moving underneath you. So that'd be a great addition to this movement system as well. So then you're kind of challenging your balance as well as working on this. Just keep it broad based. Don't fall off the ball, please. Okay. So now we got this restricted elbow. So trying to do shoulder rolls, going to the back. You can kind of keep shoulders together. You can do one at a time. And if you do one at a time, now you can really shift your weight. Okay, so now you're also getting motion in the mid-back. Okay, so we have an elbow that's restricted, doesn't want to bend much. So you can kind of keep the wrist and elbow pretty stable, but move the shoulder. So maybe we do some figure 8s here, reversing direction. You can kind of use the point of the elbow as your marker. And I'm drawing on this wall right here. You can do some stuff like this here, rotating in and out. Bring it up in front, bring it behind. So all these, I'm not trying to do a huge shoulder range of motion. But as you do this stuff, you're thinking about how can I keep my I don't want to be doing this when I'm lifting my shoulder. Try to keep that shoulder relaxed. Okay, and then, obviously do the other side. All right, so we have limited elbow range of motion. Maybe you have an old elbow injury. So we can just do some stuff like this. You can also grab a water bottle, small one, plastic one, fill it with water. There's a little bit of extra resistance. And then you can try to start doing stuff. This is going to be harder. So I'm just turning my palm up, turning my palm down. Palm up, palm down. You know, if you want to keep it more here to relax the shoulder, that's fine. And then doing wrist movements, spinning the wrist around. Bring it around the other way. Now let's do the shoulder stuff here. I'm going to go a little faster on this because I already talked about it. So yeah, if you want to, so now I'm kind of doing this motion, internal rotation of the shoulder, as I go here, and then I'm externally rotating, and then going back. So yeah, you can just play around with this. The nice thing about going front and back is now my shoulder blade is sliding back around my rib cage, which again, healthy shoulder blade motion on the back will help keep your shoulder from locking up from an elbow injury. Okay, same thing, elbow, moving, wrist. All right, obviously now we got to stand up if we're going to do hip stuff. But even from here, like kind of seated, nice wide base, especially if you're pregnant, your belly is somewhere to go. Just letting everything kind of flex. And then you can do some circles with your whole spine. This is actually more fun to do on a ball because the ball will kind of roll with your hips too. But think about your spine as like just a big jump rope, and you're just spinning it from both sides, so the jump rope swings around in a big circle. So that's kind of what you're trying to do. As I'm extending everything, as I'm opening up the spine this way, I can look up. And then down. And then up. Down. So yeah, just get motion in there. And again, all the time, you can just kind of rest your elbow if it's injured. Because keeping stuff moving is just so important. All right, so now we're kind of here. We're going to do hip circles. Both directions. Hip circles feel so good. You can kind of keep the arm, belly pressed into the hand, pressed to the belly. And also, do your best to breathe as well with this. And actually, I want to show you guys something. Knees together. Making circles with the knees. This really gets a lot of ankle motion in there. Same thing, both directions. And you can sit back down. We'll do some ankle stuff. Rolling it to the side. You want to get that ankle rolled up and out. So you want to really emphasize that toe going up and out. Because most people, when they injure their ankle, it's like this. So you kind of want to work all this stuff that brings the ankle like that. Yeah, you can stretch the foot like that. Okay, so you got both the ankles moving. 9. Just do what as many as feel good. 9, 18, 21, whatever. Okay, Last thing, and actually this is really I would recommend starting with this. You know, you can probably do it on one side if your elbow is really sore. So you're trying to breathe, as we've talked about before, like 360 breathing. So this whole area here opens and closes, opens and closes. So you can picture it in your mind. You can kind of put cues here on your hand. I know if you got a tight elbow, this is probably not going to happen. So now I can feel myself as I breathe in. It pushes into my hands as I exhale. You know, I can feel my hands coming together. So start with this, doing the breathing, which I know I should have started with it, and then go into the movements. Because this will start the whole process of waking up your core. If you can do this on a big ball, that's even better. You're going to challenge your balance a little bit and work on the breathing. If your elbow's not working right, just put one hand, you know, as you get that same motion. So you're just trying to feel it pushes as you breathe in, your hand pushes out, and as you exhale, everything kind of collapses in. And you can feel it with your thumb in the back too. So even just like rubbing it with your thumb a little bit can sometimes help just to wake your brain up to that area. And it's like, oh yeah, I can breathe into that area. So play with that. So again, this is a great, even pregnancy, late stage pregnancy, postpartum, just taking stuff real easy. If you're postpartum, I probably wouldn't do the standing movements, but seated would be okay. If you've had a C-section, be careful with doing these big kind of movements like that. But, you know, getting that stuff moving again will be really helpful. Elbow surgery, wrist surgery, whatever it is. Just find a way to get stuff gently moving. And this seated doesn't require as much energy from the body, so you're not going to be taxing your system while it's trying to heal. All right, enjoy. Take care.